Well, you're listening to the PT Pinecast, where smart people in healthcare come to make noise. Here's your host, Jimmy McKay.
First suggested like, hey, let's do this regular thing. And then I was like, why not Monday at 9:30? Why not make it the very first thing you do on the week? That sounds like a great idea.
Yes, coming in hot from school drop-off. So yeah. It's good, though. It's good way to settle in.
Andrea Cheney, I'm Jimmy McKay. This is Marketing Doesn't Work. And just to be clear, I'm saying that ironically. But if you don't do it, it doesn't work. And if you're doing what you think is marketing, and then you're like, it doesn't work, you can dismiss it. I love to push back because I'm in, you're in healthcare marketing. I'm in healthcare marketing, right? Like communications, PT, right? In a really small world. I just gave this little presentation to students this weekend. Not a presentation. I went to APTA New Jersey's like student conclave.
Nice.
And at the end, you know how it is. We all get excited when we speak or do something, and then people hang around after to ask us a question. That's always nice. And some students were like, but how do we do this? And the cool part is, and I don't know if you agree about this, but they're asking for they think they're going to get a really sophisticated answer from me, but they're not. And right. I know this. And I literally drew 6 letters on the dry erase board. I turned into Professor McKay, right? And it was frequency, intensity, time, type, volume, and progression. Have we talked about this before?
We have talked about it, yes.
And I'm like, first I quiz the students. I'm like, what is the FIT VP principle and what are all the words? And these students at APTA New Jersey did not even, they were like, bang, 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 bang. I was like,
got it.
Okay, you didn't skip class that day during XFIS. Awesome. And then I wrote them out: frequency, intensity, time, type, volume, and progression. And I said, these are exercise principles. I paused and they're like, got it. Where's the magic? And I'm like, these are communications principles. And it was cool because there was like 6 of them, and like one of them was like, got it. And the other one's like, I don't understand. And I'm like, well, how often do you show up? How intense, I guess, what would you say intensity would be like? What's the level of either fun or information? Exactly. It's the vibe. Yep. I could deliver the same thing as someone else, but do it a different way that it lands and neither is better or worse. It's just what's the intensity. Yep. Frequency, intensity, time, type, volume, progression. And I was like, these are exercise principles. These are communications principles. These are relationship principles. These are business principles. You use these principles with people you barely know, people you never know, people who are closest to you. And magically, things work. So yes, I imagine if you're like, I tried marketing. We did 3 posts last week and got nothing. Well, marketing doesn't work. You're right. That's the thing. If whatever you believe to the phrase marketing doesn't work, you're right.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yes. Your marketing doesn't work, or the way you're doing marketing doesn't work.
Yeah. So I rewind them back to who are we trying to talk to? What are you going to give to that person? Like what's your give? And we can get into that later. But first, if you live by numbers, you die by numbers. But numbers are fun. They're objective. And you had something sort of blow up this weekend.
Blow up. This is my most, dare I say, viral. It's not viral. But this has been the most engagement I have seen on LinkedIn. It's up
and so
like
I'll be your hype person, which is I'll set it up, right? So you share information, you work fractionally, and I don't know if that was a term 10 years ago.
I don't think it was. It feels like it just started 2 years ago. It's been more than 2 years, but yes, it was not a term.
And fractional is like, hey, listen, if you don't have budget or the need to hire someone like Andrea or a CFO or CMO, be chief marketing officer, but you're like, we need that. There are people like Andrea who are like, I might not want to work for you full time.
Right.
Because I want a little bit of I want a little bit of freedom, or I could make more money doing this and charge you less. Right. You get 100% of Andrea 1 day a week, 20% of the time. And so the post was, I've got the full detail as much as I could. You share good information from your point of view. And I like it because you're not trying to get people to just nod, like, and move on. Like you're calling it like you see it.
Yes.
And you're trying to get people to be like, do you see this? Am I wrong? Am I right? Instead of being like, I'm right? It's like, am I wrong? Am I right? So you want me to read this or you want to do it?
You can read it. You can read it.
So this is a post from a couple days ago. I worked with a CEO once who reviewed and revised every piece of marketing, which sounds like a delight. Every email, every social post, every ad, every landing page reviewed. I have thoughts on this, as I'm sure you do. We can get it.
I had a lot of
Nothing launched without that her approval. Then months later in a board meeting, she agreed that, quote, marketing isn't delivering results, end quote. The marketing team wasn't the problem. The bottleneck was... here's the pattern we often see. CEO won't delegate marketing decisions or campaigns. Then campaigns move slowly or not at all. Then marketing can't test, iterate, or optimize. Then results suffer. Then the CEO blames marketing. This is a circle. This is a life cycle. You pointed this out. I didn't know this because I'm not really a C-suite guy. What am I? What's the below the C-suite? That's where I like to hang out. The bullpen?
Middle management? I don't know. I don't know what you call it.
I'm in the bleachers. If people are in the seats in the suites at Yankee Stadium, I'm in the right field bleachers. So if you're gonna own every decision and wordsmith every message, you also have to own the outcomes. This is why you brought up the CMO has the shortest average tenure in a C-suite. Is it because, hold on a sec, all CMOs are just terrible? Or right. Is this part of the problem of why, like, well, that person's wrong? You know, I think I wrote my response to this was like, well, if you put your if you're the CEO and you put your finger in every bowl of soup that goes out the door in the restaurant, don't be surprised when the soup tastes like fingers.
Nobody likes finger soup.
Stop touching my soup. So that I'll stop here, which is if you're going to own every decision and wordsmith every message, you also, as the CEO, have to own the outcomes. You can't pee all over everything I do and then say, why didn't it work right? So, and this touched a nerve.
It touched a nerve. And I'll say my intention was not to give CEOs a hard time. I was simply saying the quiet thing out loud, which is beneficial to both marketers and founders. And that healthcare and beyond space, like, right, we both work in healthcare, so it's relevant for us, but this is across the board. And this is a conversation I've had with marketers in my network forever. It's like a tale as old as time. And to put this out there and go like, hey, CEOs, you might be the problem in a very, not meaning to be like in a demeaning way, a helpful way, to see so many people engage with that was validating and like a little disheartening. And I had so many, for all of the engagement you see there, like I received so many DMs of people who were like, I can't comment publicly, but.
That's when you know you've said something, at least to yourself, and now it's to others too, true, right?
True. Yep.
You know, you've said the thing, you said the quiet thing out loud, and other people, it's even better. That's when you know you're onto something, when someone's like, so I agree with you, but I can't say that.
I can't say that.
Because the person that I'm afraid of reading that isn't able to accept that.
Right.
And that sucks.
It sucks. And that's this show, right? Marketing doesn't work. Is the perspective is marketing doesn't work. There's a lot of reasons why marketing doesn't work. And it's not, it's me. Yes.
I mean, the CEO, I'm having fun. I'm making fun by putting up a GIF of Taylor Swift saying, hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. Sometimes you sort of need to do that. I think this is biased. I think marketers are fast to do that. I was taught the fastest way to look bad as little as possible is be quick to say, hey, maybe we did this wrong. Like own the hell out of it first.
Yep.
And like, instead of saying, I am perfect and this failed because of all of you or one of you screwed up. Right. So that whole Taylor Swift gift, I keep like holstered. And I was taught early in my career, hey, if you lean in and saying there's a possibility I'm the mistake, it's harder for people to want to break out their pitchforks and torches and burn your house down.
I just had this conversation with a client the other day about something else, and we both agreed. And he's been in business much longer than I have, and he was sort of sharing a similar like, this is all we have to do. And I'm like, yep, I think it's a good skill and a good habit. And I think that it's not that CEOs are like, I want to mess stuff up, right? Like they're smart people, they've grown a business, like. I think there are a few things that it could be.
What are they? I have thoughts, and I know that shocks you.
My thoughts are they don't understand marketing.
Okay.
So they're scared.
There it is.
They are afraid. And I think like I've worked with a few different, like there's fear base, right? And this is like everyone acts out of fear sometimes. But I think CEOs who are founder CEOs who have grown a brand are like, I don't want to let go and give you my baby. That's my brand. I've told the story. Or they just don't trust marketing. They don't understand marketing. It's because they're worried and their butts on the line ultimately, right? Like,
so when I do this, number one, like Chris Voss would validate the fear. Hey, listen, I understand this is scary. Marketing is where everything you sort of can control within reason, operations, people, who you put on your team, who you don't allow on your team, touches the rest of the world. It's like the outer layer of the spaceship as you're going to come back in from what's the heat shield when you're going to do re-entry. You're like, man, if this fails, the whole thing explodes. It's like, yes, but you constantly going outside the spaceship and touching the heat shield and checking it, you're going to burn up. You're going to screw it up. You're poking holes in it, man.
Yep.
But everything boils down to an emotion. And I learned that. It took me a while to learn that. It's like, no, it's this. I'm like, boil it down. Keep boiling. So if you're talking to a human, you can boil it down to an emotion of why this isn't moving, growing, any of the verbs. It's fear fear's the big one, right? It's fear. Fear's the answer.
Fear's the answer. And I think, for people who have like, it's like EQ, right? Like, and I think trying to validate that for someone who is willing to have that validated, like, yes. And I've had this conversation in the past where I'm like, hey, I think we've all been in dysfunctional marketing leadership relationships. Like I have been in more than one of them. And I know all of my marketing friends have been in more than one of them. And I know I worked with a leader and hey, you know what? I understand. There's a lot of pressure coming down from private equity, from the board, whatever. No, that's not what this is. And so it's like, okay, well, I'm trying to help you validate this fear, but I think it's really important to like get down to what that emotion is to then be aligned, because we're all operating. Like as the marketing leader, I'm worried that I'm doing something wrong, right? Like none of us know what we're all like, we know what we're doing, but to some extent we're like figuring this out as we go.
to a degree. I mean, you said it here, which I liked. So here's the pattern. Here's the life cycle you said you often see. CEO won't delegate marketing decisions. I'll go a step deeper. They'll delegate it, but they won't let it go.
Exactly.
Here it is, but they still have their fingers. Nope. Delegation is you've given me a task. I clearly understand what I'm being measured on. This is my former sales director, John Crawford, speaking through me. I love this line. He's like, make sure you're not playing ice hockey, but you're being graded on figure skating. Huh. So you scored 6 goals, but they're looking for 15 triple Lutzes. It's like, but we're both wearing skates. It's like you're being graded on the wrong thing. So make sure we understand very clearly before I leave that room what the goal is, and not just the goal. Make more sales. Well, that's sales job. What's my role in that?
Role.
Where do you see that? Help me understand. I told that to students this weekend too. You want to have the 3 most powerful words in your holster? Help me understand. Puts it back on them, but doesn't say, I don't get it. I don't get it is lazy. Help me understand says, I'd like to meet you more than halfway. So here's your life cycle. CEO, here's your next post. Go into Canva and make this a life cycle image. Failure to delegate. Then the next step, campaigns move slowly or not at all. Things break down. Then marketing can't. Here's the one I wanted to highlight. If you're over my shoulder, marketing can't test, iterate, or optimize. It's not that we don't know what we're doing. And I said this before. This is one of my lines. Humans are humany. Yep. I was in a meeting this weekend helping an organization or suggesting to an organization that they should launch a YouTube channel and a podcast and fill it with content regularly. And I was like, I am someone who can do that, but you don't have to hire me, but I think you should do that. And they said, what results can you guarantee? And I paused and I said, and I looked right into the camera of the Zoom meeting. I said, none. I can guarantee that I will get this work done, but we're putting it out to humans, and humans are humany.
Right.
Why did some stuff go, quote, why do some people gravitate? That's what marketers, I think, people never really see unless you're on the team. You and I and marketers or non-marketers, but who are curious, go, Hey, that thing blew up. Why? What about that? And we'll look at that and stare at it like it's a Mona Lisa for date. Like, let's look at it from over here. And then sometimes the answer is, I don't really know.
I don't know. I've said this so many times to my teams. I've said this to like, sometimes the answer is, I don't know. We're trying to figure it out, but I don't know.
Let's talk about this in PT terms. Sometimes the answer is, it depends. PTs love that term. Well, it depends. But then we'll hold that it depends gun right to the marketing and be like, you said it was going to work.
Tell me what it is.
No, we decided this was the best course of action based on the information we had given and the tools that we were given at the time. And we all agreed this was the best course. Yes. And we went forth. And then it did. The system achieves the results that it's designed to achieve. So you can blame the world all you want, or you can control change the system again. Change one thing at a time.
Yep.
And then change another.
Yes.
So what'd you learn from this?
Wow. So it was, what did I learn? It was validating. And I think I learned that marketers, we're all like living the same marketing life. But the few CEOs who reached out and were like, I'm in this situation, like, what do I do? What do I do? I think, it's more common than we think, right? So what did I learn is more just like what was validated. And now I'm dissecting this to go, how do I replicate this with the right audiences? And it also sort of, I don't know if you saw my post, I think I posted it last night, was like, this made me think of an idea. And it was an idea I had a couple of years ago, which was to offer like CEO, CMO alignment sessions. And it's essentially marriage counseling for CEO, CMOs. So the fact that CMOs and marketing leaders have the shortest tenure, they have the highest turnover, and we know what it costs to hire a C-suite person, or maybe they're not in C-suite, but a leader, like it's super expensive to hire, onboard, benefits, the whole 9 yards. Never mind if you need to like pay the other person severance and all that. So I was like, aha, I can help solve this, right? Like I'm still doing my marketing, but I can help solve this. I speak both languages. I've sat in on board meetings. I've been accountable to private equity firms, right? But I've also been the marketing leader, and I'm like, all it comes down to is alignment, right? So like get down to the emotion, understand what's happening, start speaking the same language, get aligned. And like, by the way, don't move the goalposts on me. And if you do, please like help me understand why you're doing that.
Well, completely hypothetical, Andrea. What would you do if you saw a situation like that between someone in marketing and a CEO, and they were given 9 different goalposts to hit in 3 to 4 months?
That's a lot of goalposts, Jimmy. I mean, I'd probably leave the role. I don't know.
No. If you were the person in between,
if I'm the person in between, that would be like 1,000% expectation setting. Like nobody is going to be successful given 9 or 5 or 4 big goalposts.
I feel like Stooges, Musketeers, Blind Mice, 3s for whatever reason, a good number.
3 is 4. And I mean, it's like, who can be successful? Like put it back in PT terms. I don't know. I'm not a clinician. Like if you're like, improve these 9 things. I don't think
we focus on, we're only allowed to too. A lot of times with insurance, it's like my shoulder hurts and my hip. And you're like, well, we're going to work on, pick which one is worse that affects your life. And we even know that. And yet a clinician or someone in healthcare would be like, fix these 9 things now.
Right. You can't do it. And so it's, what are the most important, what are the most impactful to the business and why? And then let's start prioritizing. And also, by the way, like making sure it's aligned with what you hired that person for. Like if you are hiring someone who, so I'm not going to go down all the paths, but I would say let's hit the pause button is what I would do.
Hey, so help me understand. You want one person to solve these 9 problems. How long have these 9 problems been a problem? How many different solutions, people, dollars have you put towards these 9? And you're asking this one person to solve these 9 in 4 months. Do we feel that is realistic?
Right.
And then pause. Yeah. So what are you gonna call this? Are you gonna call this the CEO Whisperer, or what are you gonna do?
I mean, that's a cool name. I don't have a name yet. Right now, when it popped into my mind again, I was like CEO CMO alignment. But I think it needs a cool name. So
that is rule number one. I learned this, and it sounds like I'm just Jimmy being Jimmy again, and I am. But I was taught in radio, which we only had one dimension to work with, just sound. That if it didn't have a name, it really wasn't tangible.
Yep.
So every little goofy thing I did, we called them features or benchmarks. Like every day at 5:00 on my radio station that I was on the air for, I did something called the 5:00 block.
Yep.
I asked for engagement from when I got on the air from 2 to 3 o'clock. I can't remember. I was on the air at 2. So from 2 to 5, I was like, had a long day. When you're like Fred Flintstone and you hit the whistle and you slide down the back of your Brontosaurus and into your car and you're going to be driving home, what should be the soundtrack of today? Name the band. So I would let them name the band, and then we do 3 songs, 1 band, your call, 5:00 block.
Huh.
But that was the thing. Honestly, if it got to like 5:01 and I hadn't kicked it off yet, the cool part after doing that for a while, people like, what's up? What's up? What's up with the 5:00 block? What's the deal? Where's that? And then I would also do this thing called What the Hell Theater. What the Hell Theater was, I would, radio DJs are just lazy. We're just sitting in a booth all day playing Pearl Jam. I would scour the internet for the dumbest news stories on the planet, and I would read you 3, saving the best dumb story for last, where I would then hit a button and my voice guy would go, what the hell? And you could then go online to read all the stories of the day. And people would say after a while, hey, it's 4:22. You do What the Hell Theater at 4:25:20. What's the deal? And I think people need to understand that it does need a name. As dumb as it sounds, if you can't say it to someone, if no one can ask for it, they won't.
Right.
McDonald's puts things on the menu. They don't just say they'll figure it out and order it. They write it down
and say what it is.
Yeah, they'll say what it is.
Yep.
So what's the next step for you? Like, are you going to put this thing together?
I am. Yeah, no, I mean, I have it together because I've had a few of these experiences, Jimmy, in my career. And I'm like, if only there was a third party to come in and help us.
The funniest part is I have been hired in full-time roles. I have been given tasks. I have come back and say, I understand, as it, reiterate the thing that you were given. As it understand, you want me to do this because of this to achieve this. Is that correct? Here is my plan to do that. And then people that pay me regular money, like every 2 weeks with a 401k and health insurance, are like, And then a consultant will be hired and come in. And it's been so funny. I was sitting there next to a friend who I'm still friends with. And he goes, isn't this essentially what you said a month or 2 ago? And I go, And then the whole room goes, that is what we should do. We should do that. And I wanted to jump up and scream. That's a great idea.
I had it.
That I had 3 months ago.
We have all been there.
So why do we do that? Why do we undervalue sometimes our own internal employees, the people that we know the best? And for some reason, in theory, why we hired them, and then lean into people who we just met and just overpaid.
It's like psychology, I think, right? I don't know. I think it's like, this is a third party. They're unbiased. This is all they do for a living. They don't do the other things that I think and I'm not minimizing it. Like, this is what I do. And I have found coming in as the third party person, you are the expert. But for whatever reason, the people closest to you that you hire to be the expert end up in this position of, and I think part of it is like, you come into a marketing role, you're treated like a suggestion box. You get this like fire hose of nonsense thrown at you constantly. And then you become like, this is what marketing does internally. But wait, there's a person externally who all they do is this really important strategic thing. And it's like, wait. I'm supposed to be doing that really important strategic
And listen, I'm not knocking the value of a set of new eyes. That is fantastic. I've been both.
Yes.
And I've been overvalued when I come in and go, so what this marketing person has been suggesting, I mean, I'm sure I could add a little, but like they're going west. And you told me the goal was find gold. And I'm like, they said go west.
Right. You're just watching them make the sausage or whatever. Like,
right. And they said to go through St. Louis, and I said to go through Albuquerque. But I really think like as long as you hit the goal, like ask 100 marketers to put together a plan, you will never see the same plan twice. It doesn't mean any of them are necessarily wrong or right, but 100 times you ask someone who does this and clearly understood the task, and then you're going to put your finger in their soup.
Right. So I've been both, and I will continue to be that third party.
Okay.
To help. And it's to help CEOs and it's to help marketers. It's really frustrating for everyone involved to be in that situation.
And it delays business progress.
Business. You're wasting money. You are just throwing money out the window. So my goal is, I come in, I have 3 sessions, and I help you get there. And it's not a, complain session. It's like, where are we? And then let's get to where we need to be.
Andrea, we got a new sponsor. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
New sponsor on the show. Got to pay for got to keep the lights on. Sponsor today is TheraFluff, the emotional support foam roller. When you want some fascial release, but you also want cuddles, look up TheraFluff, the emotional support foam roller at therafluff.com. Sometimes I do fake sponsor it because it makes me feel engaged.
It's really cute foam roller.
I saw a really cool marketing idea. The quickest way, in my opinion, to look smart in your industry is to continually look outside your industry at what other industries are doing, and then not copying them. That doesn't really work. And but I think stealing the elements. And Picasso said it was okay. He said, "Good artists borrow, great artists steal." I love that quote. Yep. I saw a really cool idea, and I'm trying to figure out if I should steal it, even if it's just a thought experiment. I'm going to give you 2. One I did the other day, and I gave it to a friend. Concierge PT practice. They come to you in New York City. House calls. Knock, knock, knock. Your doctor has arrived on door. Now the clinic treatment room, it's your living room or your neighborhood. This is my buddy Dave Kittle. Now I was sitting on my couch one night, and this is what marketers do. It's 11 o'clock. I should have just been watching a late night show, but I wasn't. I was like, the reason I got there was something else. So it started with door hangers, the things that the do not disturb signs in hotels.
I joined one of your other live streams late and caught the tail end of this.
So there was the pitch. The pitch was, could you take those? They belong in hotels. They don't belong everywhere else, which is why it's perfect for marketing, because now the term is it's a purple cow. It stands out, doesn't belong there. Why is that there? It puts an itch in your brain that you've got to scratch. You've got to look.
Yep.
Do this for 100 years. It doesn't work anymore, but do it. Be the only person doing it. So I mocked up a bunch of these for him, which were juxtaposition, right? Like putting it in a place it doesn't belong is when it actually has power. So I'll find these, I'll bring them on screen. But when you caught the end of that live, when I was explaining it to Dave, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was cool. I thought it was a great idea.
All right.
I mean, it's so simple. This is like one of those, it's so simple, but different.
Yeah. So I called the campaign, Please Disturb. Do not disturb, please disturb. And then here's just some of the images, and I'll read them for the live stream audience, the podcast audience. The first one says, and these are all two-sided, and I know how jokes work. I don't tell any well, but I know how they work. Set up punchline, set up punchline, set up punchline. So the setup is the side that you leave hanging so the person coming home from work can see it. You pique their curiosity, you put the itch in their brain, they have to turn it over, and then hopefully there's a close that makes them feel like, ooh. So the first setup is, this door leads to relief. On the other side, your living room is our clinic. Logo, phone number, QR code.
Easy.
Checkout time with an arrow like saying, hey, turn me over. Checkout time. I freaking live here. What the hell do you mean? Oh, for pain. Your living room is our clinic. Concierge, pain relief, phone number, QR code. This is not a hotel service. If I come back to my apartment building where I live, I'm going, what the hell is this? Other side, but we still come to your door. Logo, phone number, QR code. What if pain was optional? This will not land if you're not living in pain. That's okay. This cost me 11 cents.
Right.
But if you are, this touches the nerve. What if pain was optional? Other side, treatment at home, results that last. Concierge pain relief, phone, QR code. And I think this is the last one. This door opens to better movement. We bring physical therapy to you. Logo, QR code, phone number. That was one. And so you had seen that. So Dave did come back to me and he said, we tried something like this before. I've heard from a couple other people that said they tried something like this before, but as a good marketer, I pushed back. So you did door hangers. Awesome. I did not think I was the first person to ever think of this. I go, what did yours say? Oh, well, it just had our logo. It was a billboard. I go, that's why it didn't work, or in my opinion, would not have worked as well as it could have. I had this idea for the woman who cleaned my house a month and a half ago.
That's the story I heard, and I think it's a great idea.
It costs you $100 and a tank of gas and an hour of your life. And if you land one client, it pays for itself. And the word of mouth. I mean, huge. Like you land one client, you keep them for a long time. LTV.
Yes.
Lifetime value. The second campaign, this is the one I haven't talked about yet. I'll probably bring it up tomorrow. So we have our big APTA CSM. I'm going because I always go because it's where the elbows are to rub. Do I need to do something that draws attention? And you don't half-ass anything, right? Whole ass everything. That's my strategy. So it's near Disney. Do I play on so first, who am I talking to? Am I trying to get consulting clients? Am I trying to get someone to hire me? Do I have some sort of handout saying, I have a few mocked up, but need to get more attention? Do you need more patience? Do you need to hire more clinicians to grow? But something's in the way. And then I want a full, legit cosplay Mandalorian costume. I will buy this. This will not be from Halloween Superstore. This will be like someone built this.
Like a real
one. Authentic. And I will walk around in that. And then my line will be, this is the way. That's the close. That's the punchline. Need to do this? Problem? This is the way. So do I do that? And then my second question, here's the one I want to steal, but it might be too much. And that's okay. Sometimes you overpay for a campaign because the attention, the memory, the smell, the taste lingers is worth it.
Yes.
Nescafe did this campaign, I believe, in a Canadian city.
Okay.
And they rolled out a bunch of coffee carts all over the city one morning, let's say Saturday morning, right? When you're going to get a lot of people who aren't rushing to work because you need a little bit of time to make this campaign work. And then they went around the city. They must have had permission because of what I'm about to tell you. And they took bike locks, combination bike locks, and red branded Nescafe coffee mugs. And they bike locked hundreds of them around the city.
So good. Park
benches, bridge, payphone, anywhere that the city owned.
Yep.
The cup is sitting there, but you can't get it until you get the code. So you're like, I want this, but there's a code.
Right.
And then there was a little QR code that you scanned that led you to check in on social media, and Nescafe was automatically tagged. So to get the prize, to get the free prize inside of the box of cereal, you had to announce to your network Nescafe. So for, I don't know, $10 mug and I looked it up already, a $6 bike lock is really as cheap as you can get them. You had to unlock it, to get the code for that lock, you had to advertise to your network the words Nescafe and a link to Nescafe, right? And then
user-generated content.
Oh, we're not done yet. That would have been great. They went a step further. I would say they went 2 steps further. The instructions after you did this popped up and said, take that cup to any of these locations and a bunch of maps right now. And there are these Nescafe little coffee carts all over the city. And we will give you a free cup of coffee. One more step further. When you bring this cup to prove that you've done all these steps, we're going to give you another cup to share it because Nescafe brings people together. And I was like, hot. Damn. Good. Now, could you do this or should you do this every day? Absolutely not. But doing it once in a major city, and I pick a couple of target cities, and I don't know, like I loved everything.
That is such a cool. I bet the CEO was not involved in marketing for that.
Yeah. Well, or they were like, I'm going to bike lock your hands down, CEO, until I'm done explaining the idea from front to back. So, why do you like that? I think we both like that. I cherry picked that idea, but why do you like that one?
I love that idea. So it is like the element of the scavenger hunt, and it's user generated content. It's like so simple, but so clever, and like the bringing people together. So you're like working for it. It's memorable. You could go buy a coffee mug. That's not the point, but you're like, I need to get this. I'm curious. This is so cool. And then, by the way, I'll get some coffee out of the deal and give one to a friend. Very cool.
So do you know Robert Cialdini? He wrote Persuasion and Influence. He's essentially like a psychologist. This is where I would go to the CMO. The CEO. I would go to the CEO and say, here's why we're leaning on this to work. According to Dr. Cialdini, this leading researcher in influence and persuasion, these are the psychological principles that are at play. One is, I would say, loss aversion. Are you familiar with that one? I am more emotionally driven to not lose $10 than I am to gain $10. So to me, I've found the mug. There it is. I found the prize, but I can't get it.
Yes.
So now I don't want to lose the thing that I found. It's now sort of mine. So I'm going to take the 12 seconds or the 2 minutes.
Whatever it takes to do this.
Whatever this step is to do this, right?
Yep.
There's a psychological aspect of novelty. If you did this every day, this would be annoying, but this is cutesy. And the only time I've ever seen this, and I am in the know, I am going to be the first in my circle to do it. Even if I'm the 50th person on the street, I'm looking at other people doing it, because there's also going to be the bystander effect. 100 people might walk by this before the first person even stops and goes, what's that? And gets in close enough to the tag to say, scan me.
Yep.
Win me, scan me. Scan me, win me, right? There are other psychological principles at play, but that is the root one. That, in my opinion, is where you start. That's why things fail or succeed. Is this itchy enough? Seth Godin wrote that great book, Free Prize Inside. So hold on a second. People knew you had to people were buying cereal. You didn't have to convince people to eat breakfast.
Right.
Some people you do, but most people ate breakfast. So you're standing, envision, you're standing in the breakfast aisle. Well, don't judge a book by its cover, Andrea. But of course, we judge books by their cover. And then what would differentiate Fruit Loops from Fruity Pebbles? Well, a Hanna-Barbera character like Pebbles from Flintstones, but that little thing in the bottom right-hand corner that said Free Prize Inside. If it's a jump ball, what are you offering to get more value versus the one that's not? This feels like I'm getting more. Feels like it.
It feels
like getting 4.5 cents worth of plastic. Do you remember the Frosted Flakes diving Tony the Tiger?
I do.
It was like a Tony the Tiger, this big, half the size of a pen, and then you would put it in an empty soda bottle, and it would float unless you squeezed the bottle, and then magically Tony would sink. Then when you let it go, it'd go back to the top. It was so dumb. How much money do you think that stupid sinking diving Tony the Tiger was worth? Millions.
A lot.
But what would happen if the CEO had just been like, well, let me touch this. I feel like I need to touch this. And I would be like, you would just be like, get off the diving Tony the Tiger. Put your hand back in your pocket. All right. So Nescafe, I feel like it's a good idea. So let's go full circle. How does Jimmy steal the Nescafe idea at CSM? Like, I might get in trouble just bike locking stuff.
I mean, you could get permission or not. You could ask for forgiveness.
They're going to charge me $20,000, and then it's the juice ain't worth the squeeze anymore.
Right,
this is guerrilla marketing.
So how are we stealing it?
I don't know. Like, maybe I don't. Okay, here's how we're doing this live. Have you seen those guys that do the videos where it's two guys who stand a lot of times on a college campus because it's a high traffic area, and they'll stand there with tape over their mouth, and they'll have a sign that says like, first person to bring me a banana wins $100. And 100 people walk by and just go, and until one person walks by and goes,
right.
dining hall's right there. Are they really going to give me $100? So I'm watching the video to see, is there a person who's going to do the banana thing? So these guys are getting monetized. So believe me, they've made their $100 back and paid for their time. So maybe I'd play the Mandalorian idea where I don't need to unlock anything, or I could, I don't know, like there's something there. There's a crossover.
There is something there. I mean, I keep going to like things that are probably going to cost money though. So we need to like think more.
I don't mind money because like if I get one client out of this, right, it's a loss leader. Like I don't mind working. I don't mind getting paid to support my own advertising. I would be a disingenuous marketer to say, got to spend money to make money, bro. And then say, I don't want to spend any money.
I'm not spending any money.
We keep working on that. I love to hear from the audience because here's the best part. Andrea and I do marketing. I don't think either of us are geniuses. No. I think we liked it enough to keep doing it.
Yes.
And now we're just better than average.
Right.
Because we're okay with choose your heart. We're okay with like, this is frustrating. I was talking to someone the other day about launching podcasts for organizations. And then once they were they haven't signed the contract yet, but they're on this side of the slope where they're like, wait, could we do this? Wait, could we do that? And I'm like, now you're thinking like me. Yes. And they're like, and then an hour later at 10 o'clock at night after like 3, how could we, do you know what we could do and I'm of course what do you mean by that? I'm just letting them go. Motivational interviewing. I'm like, and then they go, this could be fun. And that's when I jumped back in and I said, do you want to know why in the future we'll know if an idea probably won't work or probably will? If it doesn't feel fun to us, it's definitely not going to feel good to the audience.
Right.
So we should maybe really triple down on looking at that idea. And I think that's when you turn someone in from a skeptic into an evangelist.
It's an important thing, right? For like founders to keep in mind, because sometimes we do things just to check the box. Like you're talking about an event. And I've worked with so many people in-house and on the consult who are just like, well, we have to show up and have a booth and like, we need a banner stand. And it's like, but like, what else are we doing? And the hard thing I think for events is like, well, what's the ROI? And it's like, well, we can track that in a few different ways if you'd like, but it might not be immediate. But also if you do a really cool, fun, memorable thing and you start to like warm people up, right?
Do you know what my response to a C-suite person, because I've had these, what's the immediate ROI? And of course, Jimmy goes into question mode. What do you mean by that? Well, can you prove that going to that conference is going to pay for itself and then some by the time you get on the plane out of that conference? I already know where I'm going with this. I want them to lead me. And I go, I never thought about it like that. How much money do you make? And can you show me what you did today before you get in your car to drive home had the ROI to cover your salary for the day? And then they get real quiet. And I got to be careful with that one, obviously, because that's personal.
Right.
But it highlights that sometimes the direct ROI of me walking outside with a bucket full of ice cold water and walking at a parade and saying, well, I bought $50 worth of water, $20 worth of ice. I walked around and I walked away with $100 positive. Yes, I understand that. That's in the immediate transaction business.
Right.
We're not always in the immediate transaction business, especially in healthcare.
Especially in healthcare. We are not. I mean, it's in like B2B conferences that I've been to, right? We talked about this, sales cycles, how long it takes. Like you're not going to be able to measure that right away.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's not worth doing. And here are the reasons why we would do it.
That's why because we didn't really know what we're going to call this recurring segment. And we were going to do this and this. And then all of a sudden, when you're starting to try to be cute, stop.
Right.
And that's why as soon as I think I said or I texted you, marketing doesn't work, we were both like, ding, ding, ding.
That's why? It.
Because either the people who were like, yeah, it doesn't work. Let me zoom in to see why these people agree with me. Or the people who are like, what do you mean? Of course it works. They're going to agree. They're going to zoom in to see why they're wrong. So we're either confirming your belief, preconceived belief, or we're flipping your preconceived belief on its head. Yes. And I think that's important. So I need a strategy, or sometimes the strategy is don't. Did I ever tell you the story or my look at the Scranton, Pennsylvania St. Patrick's Day parade?
No.
So I ran a radio station in Scranton, Pennsylvania, Northeast Pennsylvania. I wound up running 2 radio stations in Scranton. And in my company, my building, we owned 4 radio stations in the market. Overall, how many actually competitive radio stations were we competing with? Let's say 8.
Okay.
Right? Of different genres competing for attention, but different ages, different demo and psychographics, right? I ran a rock station. I wanted dudes 18 to 35, 18 to 45, right? The country station I ran, that's a funny side story. Jimmy McKay, who can't name 4 country artists, ran a country station. I can tell you why, but that's a different story.
Pretty great.
So, but Northeast Pennsylvania, being in the Northeast too, everything's gray for like 9 months. Winter feels long. The unofficial start of spring and warming up, St. Patrick's Day. There's also a large Irish and Polish population, and everybody loves a parade, except me. But everybody loves a parade. So the Scranton St. Patrick's Day parade is an event. It also involves alcohol. So it's an event, right?
So it's like the parade in Southie in Boston. That's our.
It's like, you don't even ask. You don't ask what you're doing on parade day. It's the parade.
You're doing that. That's what you're doing.
So every year, like an arms race, every year we'd go in. And when I first became a program director, I was like 24, 25 years old. It was like you to go pitch to the GM who had a certain amount of money that would divide amongst the 4 stations, not equally though, which I liked. You pitch your idea, you leave. He then says, you get this, you get this, you get this, you get this. Because, as he should, you got to earn it.
Right.
So, of course, I come up with creative ideas and I'm pitching and I'm learning. You know, I'm pitching to him, but also I want the idea to work with the audience. I'm doing this. And after about 3 or 4 years of pitching the idea, executing the idea, and in radio, it's hard to measure results, like objective results, right? But you're subjectively measuring. Like, dude, we just spent all this for this. Like, all right. So I don't know what it was. Year 3, 4, 5, I walk in and I position myself in the room so I could go last. And Bill Palmieri was like a tradition, a cliche of a CEO. Like, he was a CEO. He was a general manager, right? Business guy. But he had been a broadcaster. So he had done all the things. So he's sitting there with his, leather notebook and his fancy pen in his suit. And he's like, all right, I want to hear your pitches. And he's being very, hand on chin. And he gets to me and he goes, Jimmy, what do you got? And I go, what are you going to do on St. Patrick's Day weekend? And I go, nothing. And he goes, the whole room's like, that's interesting pitch, Jimmy. And Bill's smart enough because he knew me as a newbie and then eventually gave me my own station and stations. Was like, he was smart enough to know
there's something.
He's going somewhere with this. And then I said, I don't want to yell when everyone else is screaming. I think it's so big. The parade is so big. No one will ever notice if we're not there. I want this amount of dollars to do these 3 ideas in April, May, and June. Because everybody's going to blow their load in March. I'm going to be the only person. I was always fascinated with like American history and like the musket balls. And I'm like, why'd you shoot so early, dude? Like, dodge a bunch to get real close while that guy's reloading, and then kapow. So that was the strategy, which was nothing. I wanted to do an outdoor campaign with billboards in April, May, and June because I also knew when my ratings periods were. And I said, I bet you no one will notice we're not there. And we could be there.
And they probably like assumed you were there somewhere else or like didn't think of it. They didn't need to think of it.
Correct. And Bill looked at me and the other guys who had just pitched were like, shh.
You're like, shoot. It's so simple.
Bill goes, you got it. But now I needed to come up with an idea for outdoor. And we got 8 minutes left or 10 minutes left. Here's what I did. Maxim magazine was a thing. And Coors Light National was paired up with Maxim magazines, going for dudes. Coors Light wants dudes. Maxim magazine wants dudes. I got rack music. We got dudes. So I said, let's bring things to life. Let's go non-digital. When everybody's digital, let's go analog. And when everyone goes analog, you go digital. There's your marketing lesson for the day. Take that, if anything. And I said, what is Coors? So now I got to pay attention to who cares about what. Coors Light cares about dudes. But what they really care about is bars. Because they know if the bartender or the bar owner pushes their stuff, they sell more.
Exactly.
So they're like, how do I make the bar owner happy? Selling beer is a transaction. In marketing, we'd call it added value. What can I get? You're going to pay for this, but I'm also going to for this and this and this. It's all theater.
But we have to do it.
So I turned to Pat Verastro, who ran Coors Light and other brands, and he was similar to my general manager. Dude, old school, been sitting there for a million years going, He'd seen it all. Trying to wow someone like that, go basic, because they're going to see right through your bull anyway. So I said to Pat, I go, you want to take care of your bars, because if the bars love you, you're taken care of. He understood his game. Don't go to dudes, go to the bars. The bars go to dudes. And I'm a route to both. So I said, we're going to do, you're paired up with Maxim Magazine nationwide. We're going to do a Maxim Magazine contest in bars. So now the bars are like, what do I get? Here's what the pitch was. The radio station I ran was called 97.9X. So I said, we're going to do a Northeast PA search. We're looking for your next ex-girlfriend.
Oh, Jesus.
Because that's the line, right? That's the cutesy line. That's a great pickup line. Hey, how are you doing? Hey, what are you doing tonight? Looking for my next ex-girlfriend. You want to apply? That's stupid, and it probably never works, but it gets the giggle. Andrea Cheney.
Give me the wow in the wow and how.
So that's my core, right? So here's the pitch. The pitch was, Pat, pick 15 bars, and for 15 Fridays over the next 15 weeks, we'll get a photographer, a professional photographer, to come set up a backdrop and lights, and I bring the music, and we'll announce it for a week. This Friday, the Maxim model search, looking for our next ex-girlfriend, will be at this bar. And the next week, it's at this bar. And it's $0 to get your pictures taken, and we'll put the pictures on the website. That's the prize so far. Now, when you get there, we have two different, we have female cut t-shirts and male cut t-shirts. And the male lines had things like, I'm looking for my next ex-girlfriend. Are you my next ex-girlfriend? Want to be my next ex-girlfriend? I'm iterating those. And on the back is Coors Light, Maxim, and my radio station logo. And then the girl version of the t-shirts are little like t-shirts. And they say, I could be your next ex-girlfriend. Want me to be your next ex-girlfriend? I had people offer me cash to take the shirt off my back because we ran out every night.
And everyone wanted the t-shirt.
So what's the point, though? Is the point just to get your picture on the website? No, it goes back to, what did Jimmy really spend his money on instead of the parade? I bought billboards in Northeast Pennsylvania on Interstate 81 that got a bajillion cars passing. So I said, we're going to do voting. So to get in the contest, girls, because the girls, if you get, why do they do ladies' night at bars? Because they want dudes to drink. So they get ladies and the dudes follow.
Right.
So we did that. But then what's the carrot for the ladies? Be looked at by guys? The girls
they
like, I
can do that without it.
Right. Well, I said, get your picture taken to get in the contest. You got to come to at least one event, or you can come to multiple for more pictures to get more votes on our website. Now I got digital traffic. And the girls with the girl with the most votes gets her foot. She's going to be on the billboard.
Oh boy. I mean, you're talking to the wrong person about this, because I'd be like so far away from this, but you nailed it, right? Like, this is. And
then I think we also did, I think the first year when we really zhuzhed it up, it wasn't just votes on the website. Votes on the website got you invited to the live party. And then people were going to cast ballots at the live party for contestants 1 through 10. And I like wore a tuxedo and I was doing fun games and I was doing
like the whole experience. Everyone feels special and seen, and it is memorable.
Yes. So we did this for probably 5 or 6 years until I had to turn to them and be like, guys,
can't do it.
This is jump, or let's just stop it for a few years and come back to it. Because right now we're, like the sheen has worn off.
Right. Because that's like, you want to be the one on the billboard. You don't want to be one of X number that ends up on the billboard. I
think it's fine, but it's like any good idea. Like after a while, some things stick around. Do you remember Real Men of Genius?
I do. Yes. Wow.
Like Bud Light's, TV radio campaign, Real Men of Genius. That was like, imagine if a CEO had been like, but someone had permission and did it. And it was a great campaign. And it lasted way longer than I bet you they thought it would. Because they were like, people were calling my radio station to request a commercial. Because the commercials were funny. And for people who don't know Real Men of Genius, it was a campaign who was like, we salute real men. And then it would take like,
hear it, right?
Here's to you, guy who wears a baseball glove at a major league game and a jersey. And then it was like, real man of genius. You never know when they're going to need an extra guy. And you're already wearing the jersey and brought your glove. And it was just like all those stupid things. And everyone was like,
it was like a grilling guy doing something like, yes.
I would front tease, which means like coming up, we're going to hear from Linkin Park and a new one from Foo Fighters. I would front tease the commercial. I'd be like, I have 15 calls for the Real Men of Genius foam finger guy. That's coming up next. Here it is.
Yep.
That's when you know you've got something. When your advertising is content. That is simple. It's just not easy.
Right.
And you can't tell the same joke. Eventually the joke wears out. And you have to recognize that and accept it. But I got to be honest, if I worked for Bud Light right now, do you know what I would bring back 20 years later? Real Men of Genius. And here's why. To the audience who knew it the first time, you have very
it's like nostalgia. They are lovely.
Is gold. And to the second one, but you remix them and you make them Real Men of Genius. Here's to the guy rolling at his eyes at every 9-year-old saying 6'7". Like make it new again.
Yes.
And these are powerful weapons. And you start with the psychological drivers and move backwards. This is why people are like, seven habits of highly successful people. I don't even remember what the other 6 are. I remember number 2, which is start with the end in mind. I know there are 6 other habits. I hammer on that one, which is, what does the end of the scavenger hunt look like?
Right.
Is that a photoable moment? Is it powerful enough to make people jump through the hoops? And it doesn't notice. I mean, that cost $16 per mug, right? Because a bike lock was $6. Let's say a mug is $10, and you're going to give away a second mug, so that's $26. Is it worth it? Depends. Absolutely. Depends on what your goal is.
Well, right. What does success look like? How are you measuring it? What's your goal?
All right. Parting shots. Wow, we talked a lot today. This is a good. We come in with minimal notes, but
right.
What would you want to leave with the audience as we wrap up? Parting shot.
Oh man, we talked about so many things. Parting shot. You know what? I'm going to go back to my post that you brought up. And it is, what's the parting shot? I think CMOs, CEOs, figure out a way to get aligned, because you are wasting money and time if you are not. It's a nice way to say it.
Call it like your campaign you should lead with, can't we all just get along?
Just get along. Yes.
Marriage counseling for CEOs and CMOs.
Yeah,
because divorce in the C-suite is expensive.
There it is.
And you're welcome.
Play it
back. My parting shot would be today, understand the psychology of what you're asking someone to do. Because you're asking them to do something. Show up, pay attention, give me money, give me effort, give me time. You're asking for it. The value of that, or perceived value, and I would say all value is perceived value, depends on it. It depends on if they will even consider following through or not. We'll be back next Monday, because marketing doesn't work.
That's it for this one, but we're just getting warmed up. Smash follow, send it to a friend, or crank up the next episode. Want to go deeper? Hit us at ptpintcast.com. Or find us on YouTube and socials at ptpintcast. And legally, none of this was advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. See, Keith? We read the script. Happy now?